Good evening. You're now with me, Shalshmato, for Tvs Nightline, and here are the headlines for tonight. Sarawak Governor Tun Pahin Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi commends Sarawak government's focus on sustainability in every planned development. The Sarawak Governor also says Sarawak is lucky to have a leader like Sarawak Premier Datuk Padighi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunapeng. SUKMA 2024, a golden opportunity for Sarawakian athletes to prove their worth. Sarawak's move to pass the Environment Reduction of Greenhouse Gases Emission Bill 2023 was right on track. Sarawak Governor Tun Pahin Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar said this comes as global issues surrounding climate change arise as regions are championing efforts towards a net zero carbon emission by 2050. He commended the state government's focus on sustainability in every planned development in line with the conceptual and philosophical aims of the Sustainable Development Goals SDGs and Environment, Social and Governance ESG towards becoming a sustainable and future-proof region.
Wan Junaidi reiterated that Sarawak is committed to supporting the national target of a 45% carbon emissions reduction by 2030.
Saya bangga kerana kerajaan Sarawak telah menjadi perintis bagi inisiatif peralihan kepada tenaga pulih baharu TBB untuk mengurangkan pelepasan karbon. Ini jelas melalui inisiatif pembangunan tenaga hijau seperti tenaga hidro, solar, biomass, biofuel, hydrogen dan sustainable aviation fuel ataupun SAF serta pelaksanaan inisiatif pemerangkapan, penggunaan dan penyimpan karbon ataupun CCUS. Usaha kerajaan Sarawak dalam peralihan tenaga dan perdagangan karbon telah mendapat respon positif dari pemain industri di peringkat global. Dan seterusnya akan membuka banyak peluang pelaburan, perniagaan dan pekerjaan baru di Sarawak.
Commenting further, the Sarawak governor said the state government's efforts in these initiatives have received a positive response from global industry players. This will in turn attract many new investments, business and job opportunities in Sarawak, as well as opening up more job opportunities for Sarawakians.
A new approach to speeding up development and to growing the economy is proven by the Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Padighi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunapeng, in leading the government administration. Sarawak Governor Tun Pahin Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar said Abang Johari has brought about many new approaches to speed up the development of Sarawak and the growth of its economy.
Abang Johari's new approaches include establishing data centers, green energy, renewable energy, and digital economy initiatives. Wan Junaidi added Abang Johari's leadership has now successfully placed Sarawak on the world map, particularly in the green economy policy.
The post-COVID-19 Development Strategy 2030 yang merupakan cetusan minda yang amat berhormat Premier, Sarawak mempunyai hala tuju pembangunan yang jelas ke arah menjadi wilayah maju dan berpendapatan tinggi menjelang 2030, berteraskan kemakmuran ekonomi, keteraghuman sosial dan kemampanan alam sekitar.
Tun Wan Junaidi hoped that the economic prosperity, social inclusion, environmental sustainability, political stability, and the unity and harmony of Sarawak can be maintained under the guidance of Abang Johari's exceptional leadership.
The upcoming Sukan Malaysia SUKMA 2024 is seen as a golden opportunity for athletes, particularly from Sarawak, to showcase their potential, talent and wit. Sarawak Governor Tun Pehin Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar proudly announced that the state is proud to be hosting this year's Games.
Saya yakin Sarawak mampu menggalas tanggungjawab sebagai tuan rumah bagi tamasya sukan terbesar di Malaysia ini. Saya berharap melalui SUKMA kali ini, atlet kita dapat mempamerkan prestasi cemerlang untuk mengharumkan nama Sarawak.
He also encouraged the Sarawak contingent to show the best sportsmanship and prove that Sarawak is able to devote itself not just nationally but internationally as well. Hence, Junaidi urged all relevant parties to come together and show support whilst ensuring that the event will run smoothly. The Special Committee on Dilapidated Health Facilities is now deliberating the budget for repairing dilapidated clinics and hospitals throughout Sarawak. Deputy Premier of Sarawak, Dr. Sim Kui Hian said the complete budget will be presented during the winding up session of the Sarawak State Legislative Assembly sitting soon.
He emphasized that in order to address health-related issues in the region, it is imperative that health autonomy powers be provided to Sarawak.
Clinic dive and hospital dive, right, about 3 times more than that. So I mean, that's why the Premier has been very kind to have arrangement with PM Anwar, and now is leaving into the committee headed by KSN and SS to work out the details, you know, and hopefully that will address one part, the part which is equipments, infrastructures, and but also the other part is human resources.
A special committee was formed earlier by the federal government and Sarawak.
And the federal government has not taken into consideration the number of posts that we need because they're always based on population. We will discuss it again in the MA63 committee.
A special committee was formed earlier by the federal government and Sarawak to address the state's education and health sector issues without unnecessary red tape.
To leave patients waiting for 120 minutes just to get medical attention is unacceptable. Deputy Premier Dr. Sim Kui Hian demands a detailed explanation on how such incident took place, especially when the government has done a lot in its capacity to ensure better services at government's healthcare institutions.
Depending on what type of emergency, yeah. If it's 120 minutes, bye-bye. If it's 120 minutes, it's not acceptable. But I need to have more detail, you know, to find out from the Jabatan Kesihatan Sarawak.
He further explained that the emergency zones has been divided into 3 sections: the green zone, yellow zone and red zone. These 3 sections will address patients dependent on the severity of their case.
In green zone type emergency, lebih lama lah. But it's the red zone type emergency, it's immediate.
Previously, a patient went on social media and voiced out how he had to wait for 2 hours just to register himself at a government hospital in Sarawak. Sim further stated that healthcare is still under the purview of the federal government. Hence, he stressed the importance of returning the healthcare autonomy to the state government. Sarawak, renowned for its unity and diversity, exemplifies remarkable tolerance within its community despite differences. This inclusivity is evident in Machan, where residents, regardless of racial backgrounds, unite to support the less fortunate. Thus, Parti Pesaka Bumiputra Bersatu PBB and 50 Machan advisor, a seasoned figure in Sarawak's political landscape, affirmed that under the stable governance of Sarawak's Premier Dr. Tan Sri Abang Johari Junapeng, the state's future is secure.
Sarawak is so peaceful, so stable, and hence we can move forward. And I think under the premiership of Abang Jo, Sarawak has a future. I think Sarawakians, especially the younger ones, must learn to tolerate and accept each other as fellow citizens, fellow Sarawakians. And if we can have that sort of attitude, we all can do something big in Sarawak for the benefit of everybody.
Commenting further, he said that N50 Machan Village Security and Development Committee's Chinese Welfare Committee was formed in 2016 to aid the Chinese communities in the constituency, with funds being given as part of the minor rural projects and rural transformation projects and all the members in volunteer service. Other than assistance for dilapidated houses, other assistances include aid for persons with disabilities. Meanwhile, 38 community houses have been repaired since 2022. Apart from that, the committee has also identified more than 60 dilapidated houses in the Chinese community to be upgraded by this year.
This committee was formed back in 2016, because by the time I just retired, and when YB Alan took over, he decided to form this committee so that he could get closer to the Chinese community. Fortunately, we have very good and hardworking, very committed members of the community, led by Pemancha Leong King Hee. Of course, they have 15 members, I think, in this committee. All they're doing this on voluntary basis, no pay, nothing. It's just the desire to help fellow humankind. And what they do is they try to identify the needy, the less fortunate members of the community, the Chinese community, because in the kampong, in the villages, most of them are old people, elderly couple, very unfortunate, because most of the children have gone away to big cities and seldom come back. Maybe once a year or twice a year, things like that, are left behind. And when you go around, see them, the houses, some of them are very dilapidated, poor condition.
Coming up right after the break, civil servant salary raise a radical measure, says Malaysian Prime Minister. And on World News, Israel shuts down Al Jazeera operations. Right here on Tvs Nightline, stay tuned. Welcome back. Police have confirmed that 15 individuals comprising 4 foreign guides and 11 palm oil factory workers conducting an authorized river hiking activity were involved in the Lembah Maksina water search incident in Makwao, Tunku. Lahad Datu District Police Chief ACP Zulbaharin Ismail said the river hiking activity did not receive permission from the Sabah Forestry Department or the Fire Department, and notifications about the activity were not provided to the police. The incident claimed the lives of 2 factory workers and a guide who were found drowned this morning. Zulbaharin said investigations found the Sabah Forestry Department had stopped activities in the area as they were uncontrolled and challenging. He advised the public who wish to engage in water-related extreme activities to check the current weather, exercise caution and pay attention to notices at the location. Zulbaharin said if activities in Lembah Maksina are not curbed, similar incidents may recur, adding that the police do not have the authority to control activities in the area, as it falls under the jurisdiction of the Sabah Forestry Department. Despite economic uncertainty, the government is taking the bold decision to raise the salaries of a civil servant. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim aims for equitable recognition and confidence for civil servants through salary adjustments under the Civil Service Remuneration System, SSPA.
Jadi kita pertimbangkan oleh itu, tidak boleh dibebankan. Jika tidak boleh dibebankan, dan ada kewajaran kita sebagai bapa dalam keluarga besar kerajaan, harus berpertimbangan. Itulah sebabnya mengapa kita ambil keputusan yang berani. Perbincangan itu agak teliti dan mendalam, antara CKSN ada, KPPA ada. Dan memang KSP, kita nak membangun pertimbangan bagaimana harus beri suatu yang betul-betul melegakan.
In his address at the monthly meeting with the Prime Minister's department staff in Putrajaya, Anwar said the decision to increase salaries is based on civic considerations, humanitarian compassion, efficiency, and the resilience demonstrated by civil servants.
Jadi saya minta sementara kita berikan satu anjakan yang agak radikal dari segi memberikan pengiktirafan dan habuan kepada penjawat awam. Saya minta seorang saudara untuk mengawal sendiri jabatan dan rakan-rakan supaya dikenal pasti orang-orang yang merosakkan nama baik penjawat awam.
He expressed confidence that the government's proposal to raise civil servant salaries will be approved by Parliament during the presentation of Budget 2025 this October.
Malaysia is taking a holistic approach in facing global challenges, emphasizing peace resolutions and sustainable development. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim said the nation actively plays a role in implementing various security collaborations to shape a safer and more stable world for future generations.
This theme should then resonate within all of us as we confront an increasingly fragmented global landscape while facing global challenges that threaten our collective security and prosperity. These escalating threats are pushing the world towards an unprecedented turning point, demanding a unified, reasoned response.
He made these remarks at the opening ceremony of the Defense Services Asia Exhibition DSA and the 2024 Asia National Security Exhibition NATSEC at the Malaysia International Trade and Exhibition Center MITEC earlier today. Anwar highlighted various threats faced by the nation, including cyber attacks compromising sensitive data, security and trust, which are essential for society and the economy. However, he noted that the challenges are not isolated but interconnected with broader global crises. The DSA and NATSEC Asia 2024 exhibitions showcase the world's most advanced electronic warfare technologies and assets in the defense sectors of land, air, and sea. This biennial event, in its 18th edition, carries the theme Building Resilient Nations for the Next Generation and was attended by over 1,200 companies from 45 countries. 30 nations have confirmed their participation in the exhibition, including the United States, China, Australia, Brazil, Germany, India, France, Italy, South Korea, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, and the United Kingdom.
His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim, King of Malaysia, expressed special thanks to outgoing Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong for being a close friend to Johor and Malaysia. Sultan Ibrahim said Lee's dedication and foresight steered Malaysia and Singapore towards closer cooperation in building a better future. His Majesty also congratulated Lee's successor, Deputy Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, on his elevation to be the new Prime Minister this coming May 15. In reflecting on the ties between the two countries, His Majesty said Malaysia and Singapore have a special relationship bonded by a common history and culture as well as close economic ties. Meanwhile, Sultan Ibrahim also paid tribute to Singapore's founding father, the late Lee Kuan Yew, for being the chief architect of the Republic and shared stories of His Majesty's close ties with the Lee family. His Majesty said the first Prime Minister of Singapore, among others, shared the need to be consistent in policy as it will inspire confidence among long-term investors, which is critical for economic growth. Thank you for staying with me. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has announced that his government has unanimously voted to shut down Qatar-based news channel Al Jazeera's operations in Israel. Israel said the shutdown is valid for a total of 45 days with the possibility of an extension. Fortunately, the shutdown does not extend to the Israeli-occupied West Bank or Gaza Strip, where Al Jazeera continues to broadcast live coverage of Israel's conflict with Hamas.
The Zionist leader said in a statement that Al Jazeera correspondents have harmed the security of Israel and incited against IDF Israel military soldiers. Meanwhile, Communications Minister Shlomo Kari said in a joint statement with Netanyahu that there will be no freedom of speech for the Hamas trumpets in Israel and that Al Jazeera will be closed immediately and the equipment will be confiscated. In response, the network expressed its commitment to utilize all possible legal avenues through international legal bodies to safeguard its rights, protect its journalists, and uphold the public's right to access information. Al Jazeera Media Network condemned the Israeli government's move as a criminal act and warned that the country's suppression of the free press stands in contravention of international and humanitarian law.
جاء للتحريض وجاء بهدف طمس الحقيقة كون الجزيرة من وسائل الإعلام الرائدة في نقل الحقيقة حول ما تسببه هذه الحرب الكارثية على المدنيين والمواطنين تحديدا في قطاع غزة. نحن نحمل هذه الحكومة الإسرائيلية وكافة السلطات الإسرائيلية المسؤولية كاملة عن أي ضرر قد يلحق بأي من الزميلات والزملاء أو بأي من مقار الجزيرة من قبل متطرفين قد يرون فيه مسوغا لتنفيذ اعتداءات جديدة ضد الصحفيين والصحافة.
Netanyahu's administration has been engaged in a protracted dispute with Al Jazeera predating the conflict in Gaza. Tensions escalated due to Israeli objections to the network's reporting on the war, during which Israel's genocide has resulted in the deaths of at least 34,683 individuals in Gaza, predominantly women and children.
The cycle repeats as the Israeli army endeavors to rescue civilians by relocating around 100,000 individuals from southern Rafah to an expanded humanitarian area in the Palestinian territory in anticipation of an impending ground invasion by Zionist forces in the southern city of Rafah. An Israeli military spokesman said the evacuations are, quote, a component of a strategy to dismantle Hamas.
The Zionist military emphasized that they would communicate messages urging temporary relocation to safe zones through posters, SMS messages, phone calls, and Arabic media broadcasts. The statement also asserted that troops would persist in targeting Hamas militants throughout Gaza until all captives held by them are safely returned home. Since the onset of the conflict, Israel instructed Palestinians residing in northern Gaza to relocate to designated safe zones in the southern part of the territory, which includes Rafah. However, airstrikes have often struck Rafah, leading Palestinians to maintain that no area of Gaza is truly safe. On Friday, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken stated that Israel had not yet provided a credible plan to truly safeguard the civilians at risk, emphasizing that without such a plan, Washington cannot endorse a significant military operation in Rafah. Concerns over the potential invasion in Rafah have raised alarm among aid organizations and global leaders.
A record-breaking heat wave is boiling parts of Asia, helping drive surging demand for cooling options, including air conditioning. AC exhaust units are a common feature of urban landscapes in many parts of Asia, clinging like limpets to towering apartment blocks in Hong Kong or tucked in a cross formation between the windows of a building in Cambodia. Scientists have long warned that human-induced climate change will produce more frequent, longer and more intense heat waves. According to a 2019 report by the International Energy Agency (IEA), only 15% of homes in Southeast Asia have air conditioning. However, the IEA said the figure obscures vast variations ranging from around 80% installation in Singapore and Malaysia to less than 10% in Indonesia and Vietnam. Forecasts suggest that higher temperatures and better wages could see the number of air conditioning units in Southeast Asia jump from 40 million in 2017 to 300 million by 2040. That would stretch local electricity capacity, which is already struggling under current conditions. According to the IEA, air conditioning is already responsible for the emission of approximately 1 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide per year out of a total of 37 billion emitted worldwide. Still, cooling options like air conditioning are a key way to protect human health, especially for those who are most vulnerable to the effects of extreme heat: children, the elderly, and those with certain disabilities. See the world closer with TVS as we bring in the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines anytime, anywhere, just head on to our official website at tvsarawak.my or follow us on our social media platforms at TV Sarawak. Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Shol Shamato. Thank you for watching and have a good night.